And what's good, guys? Welcome back to obviously the most underrated golf podcast on the market, Golf and Gospel Podcast. And dog, shout out to Rory McIlroy, the best European player of all time, for winning his second second Masters win in a row. He's in good company with Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, and Jack Nicklaus. What a win! And this is hard for me to say because I'm not a Rory McIlroy fan. But unfortunately, he pulled it off. And I know I can respect someone that have a good game, even though their personality kind of clashes a little bit. But welcome back to the podcast, man. I'm Jeremy Davis, former NFL player and host of the best YouTube golf show, Golf and Gospel. Got a fun one coming out with my homie Gina Kim this week. Be on the lookout for that. And obviously, we got the best PT in the Southwest and former Nebraska Cornhusker golfer, Nate Wong. And we got one of the best golfers you've ever seen, the homie that knows all about strokes gained, Georgia Tech's finest. No offense to Stuart Sink, but my dog, Chris Petefish, man. Again, guys, please like, subscribe, share. We're on all platforms now. It's going to be on Apple. It's going to be on Amazon Music. It's going to be on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are. Like, subscribe, rate us. Tell us if we're trash. Tell us if we're doing good. And they want to keep being uplifted or want to keep being critiqued on how we can get better. So, again, we love you guys, man. Let's get into this conversation. The Masters, dog. So crazy. Rory wins back-to-back, man. Gave it away for a second. But overall, let's just talk about some of the overall things we just saw throughout the final round. Chris, you go first because you were actually physically there. Me and Nate are just watching from the comfort of our home.
Exactly. No, I was there Monday and Saturday. Just incredible experience. I mean, you guys can ask away about how it was, but I think Saturday was a better viewing experience than Sunday. There were some cool moments today watching, but the back nine was a little anticlimactic once Rose and Young started giving it away. And Rory had some awesome moments there between 7 and 12, and 13. Just hit awesome shot after awesome shot, especially 12. That was probably the one hole that we're going to really remember 10 years from now, is that pulling off that birdie and really putting his stamp on the golf tournament. But yeah, no, he tried to give it away. I mean, if there were a few more holes, I think Scotty would have caught up to him. I mean, that's true. Scotty's putt on 17 was right there on the edge. I mean, that easily could have gone in as a coin flip. And then Rory tried to give it away on 18, but just hit it too far right and gave himself a shot into the green. You kind of have to give it to Rory just because of the lead he built and just his poise, even after that double bogey on 4. To be able to come back after that, I really thought he might be cooked because he's given away so many golf tournaments in the last 10 years. But for him to compose himself and go on that run, really started on 7, was impressive. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he was like 5 under after 7. Yeah, except minus 18. Yeah,
and that was the same thing I was gonna say too, Chris. It's like he had the lead, then he was in up 3 strokes back, and it's like, man, we're gonna see typical Rory. But he always kind of like teases it. But I feel like his veteran presence, obviously being experienced, in the Masters. He kind of said, I think after Friday, he said, man, I've seen both ways. I've had the lead and I've thrown it away, and I have the lead and I've won it. So I've seen 2 sides of it. Which one am I going to do? Hopefully the one where he's going to win, but he's been on both sides. So I think he didn't want to be too comfortable with the huge lead he got after Friday, which he almost, once again, he made it close to what it is going into Sunday. But very impressive just to kind of see his poise, especially on 18. You hit a terrible slice into the pine trees and really good out. Even though it went into the bunker, that was a really good out because I know I'll probably still be there currently right now as we're speaking. And then I would have probably eventually finished with, I don't know, a 10 like Hong Tong Lee did on that one hole. But
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, which is so crazy, man. But again, Rory wins the Masters. 18 other golfers have won the Masters tournaments multiple times, led by Jack Nicklaus, who won at 6, Tiger won at 5. Then you got guys like Arnold Palmer and several other players, including Sam Snead, Gary Player, Nick Faldo, and Phil Mickelson. And obviously, Scotty's won it twice as well, man. Nate, what are your thoughts on the final day of the Masters?
Yeah, I just wanted Cam Young to make some birdies. Man. And low key, dude, I feel like it's been an anticlimactic Sunday because last year we were thinking, granted, like there's been contention. I'm not saying that. It's just like we thought it was going to come from this guy. We thought it was going to come from Bryson last year. We thought it was going to come from Cam Young. And Cam Young at one point was favored to win, especially after that double. And Cam Young made a birdie on 2, I think.
Yeah. Because he didn't make any birdies on the back nine.
Yeah. So I thought it was just going to be a lot more contention from Cam. But I feel like with the Masters, it's like always Masters fashion where someone that's a little bit lower on the leaderboard will make a surge Sunday to kind of come in. Hatton was a guy that did that today. Scotty was obviously another guy that did that today. And then last year it was Justin Rose. Oh, yeah, Russell Henley. Yeah, how could I forget?
Yeah.
Yeah, Henley made a push. He almost was it 17? He almost birdied. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he
like
needs the birdie the last 2 holes to have a
yeah,
chance, and he unfortunately, I think he
yeah.
parred both of them.
Morikawa, another guy.
Colin, great job by Colin fighting through that
Yeah,
back injury and thugging it. You saw he was hurting. And I think he ended up going 4 or 5 birdies in a row until he finally made the
yeah,
par, I think, on
5.
17 and 8. Yes.
Yeah,
I was
5
like, man,
birdies in
what
a
a push
row.
for you, Colin. Yeah.
Dude, 5 birdies in a row, and he was like in a bad mood because his back was killing him.
He
But
absolutely just wanted to finish the tournament, man.
yeah,
But yeah,
well,
there's
Chris,
several other players.
I was saying, what was it like out at Augusta? Like, what was the course like? Also, the other thing too is I want to know because everybody's always like, it's there's no overhype of the Masters. Like every time you go, no one has overhyped it and stuff like that. Like, could you say this? Would you say the same? Like, it was just an unbelievable event, or
Totally agree. And I especially had the perspective of playing Augusta National in college a couple times versus being there for the Masters. And when you go there to play, there was probably 10 people on the golf course the entire day. It is as quiet and calm as it gets. And then you compare that to 40, 50,000 people and the hype of the Masters. Very cool. They're both cool. Totally different experiences. Yeah, you basically can't hype it enough. That's definitely the coolest sporting event I've ever been to in my entire life. And you just can't overhype it because they do such a good job of creating an incredible experience for the patron, as they call us.
yeah,
And just everything from the lines, just how efficient they are, even with bathrooms, they like everything, every detail is perfect. And everyone's just buzzing, excited to be there. And I love the no phone policy. You're mingling with people that otherwise I never would have probably taken the time to. Um, I Saturday essentially because I live 2.5 hours away, I'm getting up crazy early, like 4:30 in the morning. I'm driving my 2.5 hours to Augusta. Have my chair with me. I drop it on 16, about 2 rows in, so 10 feet from the
nice,
water, perfectly positioned where I can see 15 and 16 at the same time.
nice,
And that if you don't know the rule there, once you have your chair,
yeah,
you can't lose it. That is your spot for the entire day. If someone takes your chair, then no one's gonna like physically take your chair. But if someone takes your
yeah.
seat, you can just tap them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, bud, that's my chair," and they will politely get out. No hard
That's so
feelings.
cool.
Like that is my property,
Yeah,
and it just allows you to go around the course and sit in other people's chairs too if they're free, and get like the best seat in the house throughout the golf course. So
So it's not
awesome
like the
rule.
Phoenix Open, huh?
Yeah, not like that at all.
the
Yeah,
opposite. Things
yeah.
opens like phones everywhere, and then the
Yeah.
Masters. Yeah, I think it's cool like how on hole 12 like the crowd comes down the right side of the tee box and then it cuts off. I'm like, dude, it's just I seriously feel like Augusta is heaven on earth. Like I was telling Jeremy, we're watching on TV, the water looks so still on 11 and 12. It looks like it looks like the turf version of water. Just
It's
everything
like
there.
golf Garden of Eden. It really is.
Dude,
I don't even.
yes.
It's just a magical place. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would say for Saturday, like I spent most of the day. I got a buddy who's good friends with Jake Knapp, and so his dad, his mom, his whole crew, and he like basically brought out a lot of his high school buddies and college team buddies from
Nice.
UCLA, and so there were like 20 of us, and we just followed him and Xander the third round. Really cool experience. I enjoyed that more than posting at one hole, just kind of watching around
I love
unfold.
following golfers, yeah.
Same,
Yeah,
same.
so I really enjoyed that. And then what was really neat is that they have the leaderboards every couple holes, and you just hear the roars, just the cheers throughout the golf course when someone did something great. And we heard all these crazy cheers on the front nine. We're like trying to figure out what's happening because unless you have the leaderboard in front of you, everything's manual. You don't know what's happening. And we get to the
Yeah.
leaderboard, and Scotty's 500 through nine, and we're like, "Holy cow, this is crazy!" He's making
Yeah.
an insane charge,
Yeah.
and the greens were receptive, but the pins were crazy tucked, and
Wow.
like just the greens in themselves are way smaller and more undulated than TV gives credit
Dude,
for.
that's
I
what I
can
was gonna
promise you
ask
they are
you.
more
Yeah.
severe. Yeah,
It's like how because I heard 17 is straight uphill, and
it is. Yeah.
it's like a hike just to freaking walk that hole, let alone try to hit tee shots up there and approaches up there. But yeah, talk to us about the course and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone says, "Oh, dude, it's way hillier than you think," but it is true. 7 and 17 are up the same hill in the same direction, so they're equally as uphill. 18's even more uphill because it's just the opposite of 10, and you're just going straight up a mountain to the clubhouse. And I think the striking thing is just the greens. They are so small. You have to hit your irons well, or it's why it favors bombers as well, like Rory, because he's just going to have wedges and 9-irons in his hand.
Yeah, you can
versus
hold it
Brian
in there.
Harman, who's going to have 6-irons, and it's just like he's going to get worn down throughout the week because you just can't hold those greens, let alone get close to them if you have long to mid irons versus a wedge in them. So it's I think the greens, how small they are, don't get talked about enough, and really short game because everything is mowed from the green back to the tee. So every single chip and pitch is into the green, and you have to have perfect technique into the greens or into with these chip shots, or you're going to get exposed. Which is why Patrick Reed usually is always lingering at this golf tournament.
Yes. I was going to say, to Brian Harman's credit, and Nate pointed this out, he found a way though. Because at one point he was plus 10 and got himself to the weekend and played very, very good. But I think that's a great point you made about Rory having only having 9-iron wedges into, because it favors big hitters big time. At least, especially accurate ones too. That's why I feel like Bryson always falls off, because he's not really as big as he is. Not very accurate at all.
Well, his problem is his iron play. His iron play is just not good. He doesn't hit it high a lot.
With the 3D print stuff he did.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's had iron problems for quite a while, especially getting distance control down. And it's just a nightmare there if you don't have your irons on lock. And then especially around the greens, like I said, with into the grain, like he's got those long. So it's just it's actually not a great course fit for Bryson. He seems to not be able to figure it out, except for the last that last year where he was in contention. But
he made that huge putt.
I don't know. Him and Rahm are just not figuring this place out after Rahm won.
It is crazy because obviously it resurfaced back in 2020 when Bryson said, "Man, Augusta plays like par 67." And he has been over par ever since then, man. And I'm just thinking about like the troubles he had out of the bunker. I'm just like, bro, why are you struggling? And granted, maybe it's different terrain, but when I go back to the U.S. Open and how he won, so it was a nice bunker shot.
Great bunker shot at 18.
So like now he's just like struggling. Well, at least this week he was just struggling out of bunkers. He got a triple the first time, and then obviously he ended up finishing
triple
double
again on 18.
On 18, because he all he did was a bogey, ended up going triple. So, baby, question I want to ask you, Chris. Obviously, there's mixed reviews on this in regards to Rory being able to fly to Augusta when he drops his daughter off at school, play around, and then going back. Do you think that is considered fair, the access he has to, I don't know how many times he practiced, because I know that if you're playing, you get a limited amount of time to practice before the tournament. So I don't know how often he did it, but some people seem to have a problem with Rory and I guess the way he was able to go to Augusta. I don't know if he was playing with a member. I don't know if his past championship status allows him just to play whenever he wants. But what's your take on him doing that?
I mean, I don't care. I mean, if he wants to go take his private jet over there and come up and down, it doesn't bother me. If he wants to miss a couple PGA Tour events, I mean, he cares about majors. Like at the end of the day, are people gonna care if Rory wins 30 PGA Tour events or 39? No, they're gonna care if he wants 7 majors or he won 10 majors or if he stays at 6. Like, I mean, do what you got to do, I guess. At that point, they'll criticize you for anything. If you want to go get some extra practice rounds, do it. I mean,
he does get a lot of hate, and some of it might be coming from us.
Hey, he's not my favorite either, but
that's why I think a lot of people they don't like his personality. We respect him as a golfer. He's got a swing that you can model. Obviously, very talented. Has won,
works hard,
career Grand Slam winner. It's only been 6 career Grand Slam winners. He's one of them, and we can appreciate that part of him. But a lot of things he says from a media standpoint, or if he loses, he avoids the media. Like, we don't like that stuff. But that's why I say I respect him as a golfer. Big time. I mean, if he said like, "Hey, you work on golf for me," I absolutely will. Now, if I want to go hang out with him on a Monday afternoon and go watch Monday Night Football, probably not. Not. I mean, from the outside looking in, but
no, I'm okay.
Yeah, but some people kept trying to pose as a problem, and I'm just like, why is it a problem? And because I don't like it that much, I almost wanted to lean on it being a problem. But the more I sat there sober-minded, I'm just like, what's wrong with, like, if you have the opportunity and the freedom to go practice there? Like,
he's earned the right.
He has the right. And
he has earned the right.
If you're a former major winner or whatever, gets you access there, like, you could have done it too. And obviously, I wonder now if people are going to start following this formula to see if they can win the Masters, especially like guys, maybe like a Dustin Johnson, if he wants to like try to get back in that good graces like with PGA fans and majors and stuff like that. Because obviously, I think Liv stops 2 weeks prior to the Masters. Like, is he going to start trying to, conduct a similar schedule like Roy? Like, okay, let me go here on my private time and go play Augusta, then fly back. I mean, I don't know how his family lifestyle is and stuff like that, but I wonder if this is a new formula to start doing if you want to see yourself win the Masters. I mean, back to back is incredible.
Yeah, people stop playing like the Valero and stuff like that, and just to they might as well just cancel that event if this keeps happening.
Well, I wouldn't say that because some people like a Gary Woodland, they need that win to get into.
Well,
the Masters. So I wouldn't say
that's
cancel
true.
it per se, but it definitely, if you're probably a past winner, or again you have the status like a Roy or Scotty, wherever they may be, is that the new formula now to go try and do something like that, or like we talked about it, like a guy like Ricky Fowler, why'd you skip the Valspar? You're not in the top 50. That poses an issue. But a guy like Roy obviously can go do that. And now Ricky's missed his, third, fourth, fifth? I don't know, because Masters in a row. So I wouldn't say eliminate the Valspar. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But another thing I want to talk about is, and guys, sorry if I sound congested. My sinuses are swollen. But I do want to talk about what Bryson has considered him and Roy to have this rivalry. And do we think that this rivalry is a real thing? After this weekend, you'll be like, what rivalry? I mean, you didn't make the cut. Obviously, Roy went on to win the Masters. So, is there a true rivalry here, or are we kind of just hanging on the fact that the one time Rory could have won the U.S. Open, Bryson ended up winning it, and every time after that, I feel like Rory gets the best of him. My opinion, but I'll let hear y'all take on that.
I think it's Bryson had the one, and Rory's having the last laugh. It's like the movie Rush, where it's like Chris Hemsworth character won that first one race, and then the German guy won the rest. And I think Rory's going to go down as he's going to be cemented into golf history, whereas Bryson is just going to be like a phase of golf history. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it seems like
right
now.
Yeah. As of right now. Right now. I'm not writing the history books, and the history books are still being written. So, I could be wrong. And I hope I am. Everyone loves Bryson. But what do you think, Chris?
I agree with that take. I feel like they're rivals on the fact that they're both big egos and they're willing to speak up and not back down. Rory's just a more rounded player than Bryson. He's got more tools at his disposal, and you can see it at certain courses that demand other aspects of the game versus hitting a mile and putting it decently, like Augusta has with these two. So, no, Rory's, I think, a different class of player, but that doesn't mean Bryson can have his number here or there or have some really good matches.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say it's. I mean, the rivalry's Scotty and Rory. I think it's setting up for that to be the next several years. Rory's seeming to take his game to the next level, and Scotty is Scotty. So,
I just think Scotty's not fun. That's why.
Yeah, his personality.
Golf rivalry, on the links. I think those two are the guys that are going to be duking out for tournaments. I think Bryson and Rory can duke it out for views on social media.
Which I don't think Rory really cares about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think Cam Young is like a rising star. I think Cam Young is kind of having this trajectory that we wanted Ludwig to have, essentially. He's killing it on Ryder Cup. He's won the Players. He's top 3 of the last 3 signature events, or top 5 or whatever. And he got tied 3rd this weekend, so
disappointed is Sunday though. I really
disappointing back nine.
When I saw that putt on 2 and he took the lead and Rory doubled on 4, I really thought this is it. Especially he's running big putt on 5. I'm like, he's not backing down, and then just some crazy bogeys on.
And was it hole 1 or no? It was a hole 2. He was further away, and then they both had the birdie putts, and then.
And again, that's another green. That's such a difficult putt, and it was drippy. The thing, he probably played it a foot and a half outside, came and just went in with perfect speed. And his putting's so good, his driving, but his drive was a little off. He just didn't hit as many good irons today. He missed a ton of putts from 10 to 15 feet.
Yes, dude.
The putting it got cold. It got cold. It got really cold.
Yeah. So he just kind of fell flat along with Justin Rose. But yeah, I really thought I thought Cam Young was winning today, but. Obviously,
after hole 2,
to his credit though, this is his first Masters, right? Cam Young,
I think so.
No, that would surprise me.
This is the most notable Masters performance he's had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's still kind of.
Yeah, he was never relevant.
But he's still. Yeah, he was never I feel like he's playing his best golf right now, and
Yeah.
I think his best golf is.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking?
I didn't. Even,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it froze.
no, I was just like, I didn't know he was number 3 in the world. But I was like, I think he's the third best golfer in the world right now, and he's ranked number 3 now. So, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was thinking Jacob Bridgman in my head too. I was thinking Jacob Bridgman in my head. This was his first
Okay.
because after he won the Genesis Invitational, that's what I was thinking. Another thing I want to talk about, Chris, your thoughts in regards to Bryson and these 3D print clubs. Obviously, he had the breakup with LA Golf. I don't know specifically if Bryson used these clubs in South Africa and they were working for him, or he was like, let's try them at the Masters. But I would love to know your thoughts about trying to bring out these clubs in a situation like at Augusta.
I doubt, even for Bryson, I doubt that he would try to galaxy brain and print out some clubs just for Augusta. I'm sure he probably tested and had it before
I hope so.
at Live. But still, like, I think he's got to do something with the wedges. I mean, I get the same length if you want to do that with a pitching wedge to 4-iron driver, whatever. But like with wedges and touchy shots around Augusta, like that is the place where you're going to get exposed with your short game, and it seems to be exposing him. So, like, I don't know. I just don't think you can attempt to have a 6-iron length sand wedge and expect to have a great short game. I mean, no one's ever
That's
done
a
it.
good point. Yeah.
And I just like, I don't know. I feel like at some point he's gonna have to try, and I feel like he's the guy that's willing to try. Oh, I gotta. Maybe I was wrong with the wedges. I gotta have a more conventional length wedge so I can have more feel and use the bounce correctly. But until then, I guess we'll see. But
Do you think
That
it would
is
cause him more
such a
trouble
good
to
point.
try real clubs? Because, like, let's say if you're like, okay, I'll go to Augusta and try, like, regular size clubs that fit me. I don't know if he would struggle. Like, I'm not used to this and still miss the cut. Or is it something like, hey, you have to thug out this process and be bad for a little bit until you get good again? Because we kind of see that with Max Homa in his swing change. Like, Max Homa's like, I got to play really bad before I get good. But for some reason, Max Homa always plays well at Augusta for some reason. But I don't know if that's something that,
I think it's just with the wedge. I would just mess with the wedges. I mean, that's the thing. I grew up playing against Bryson when I was literally like 9, 10 years old in Northern California. He had normal clubs. He had a normal swing, normal clubs. So he's a good enough
Normal
player, a
swing.
good enough athlete. Like he can play golf with normal clubs. He did that. He's played with normal clubs more in his golfing career than he
Insanely.
has with the new setup that he's done. So it's not like he can do it. He has done it.
I think the wedge to long irons is probably, or like pitching wedge to long irons is probably the move, because it definitely, he hits it far enough that he doesn't need extra distance. He doesn't need a longer long iron, and you want to be able to hit it somewhat tight with your long irons. But that is such a great point, because I feel like his chip shots just kind of leaked a little further than someone like Justin Rose's chip shots or Scotty's chip shots or even Rory's chip shot. Like when he saved par, was it on 14 or 17? Like he just, it didn't leak as much as someone like Bryson's would. And not to mention his hard time with the bunkers and stuff like that. Yo, are the bunkers like, because don't they make it with different sand at Augusta or something like that? Like it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get up and close personal with the bunkers, and obviously when I played it, this was 2014. This was a long time ago, but I have heard. I mean, I walked with Jake Knapp and his whole crew. So Jake got his whole crew house for his friends to stay with, and so obviously they were talking with Jake about the conditions and the setup and stuff, and Jacob was saying that the sand is very powdery, it's softer, which is it's harder to get spin out of there. And if you don't have really good contact, you're going to see a lot of duffs. You're going to see a lot of chunks.
we saw it with Bryson.
Yeah. It's just hard to get spin.
And
when you
sand
have kind of
burns.
a powdery bunker versus more of the harder sand like you would see even like at Pinehurst.
yeah, I
Give you
heard
an
it's like
example.
more
Different sand.
synthetic sand or something. I forgot like
Right.
what, I can't remember what
Yeah.
I heard, but yeah, I know the sand is a little bit different. So
I want to move over to this. So obviously, every year we make a point in terms of golf media outlets to say, man, live makes golfers worse. I want us to assess some of the live players that play in the Masters. We're going to lay off Bryson. I think we've said enough about him and how he's showing up, this year. But I want to start off talking about a guy like Cam Smith and some things we've seen from Cam Smith. Obviously, this is his sixth major miscut in a row. But I would love for us to assess him currently in his performance at the Masters.
wait, I'm curious to hear what you think, but Chris, but yeah, like
Or
before
maybe
the
it's so
Masters.
bad that we don't have a word.
I mean, before he left for the, let's call it the Saudi back tour, as Brandel says.
Brando say.
Before he left for that tour, we thought he was going to be an all timer, and he had that kind of trajectory. When he won at the Open, it looked like he's going to be able to hold off guys like Rory, like on demand. And the moment it felt like it never got to him. Like he was just stone cold. Like, yep, I'm just going to make this birdie on 18 on St. Andrews. But yeah, what do you think, Chris?
I think it's interesting to look back at some of his data golf, his strokes gained, and to see maybe if those 2 years where he was lighting it on fire and winning a ton of tournaments and won the British Open, was that an outlier? Like, was he ever going to be that kind of a prodigy type of legacy player? And I talked to the guys who were, I wasn't staying with, but we're staying with Jake, and they were saying, like, yeah, we watched Cam Smith for a while. He's got no golf swing. Like, he was missing greens by 20 to 30 yards. Like, his short game is top 5, maybe top 3 on the planet, and he can still roll the rock and get up and down from everywhere, and it's sick to watch. But he has no golf swing. And no, his golf swing is just falling apart. And maybe some of it is live, but maybe a part of it is just he had a peak kind of 1, 2, 3 years, and maybe it was just unrealistic expectations that was going to last.
That's sad. Do you think that's like happening with like the Homas of the world and stuff like that, where like you had 3 good years?
Well, in that case,
Homa,
you can't blame Liv if you talk about Homa this way, which is fine.
yeah, well, but like I feel like my defense for Liv is guys like Homa, where he had 3 really good years, where he had like 6 victories, and then he's kind of been quiet the last 2-3 years. So I don't know.
I feel like live affects people different ways. Like Patrick Reed's a golf sicko, and he's playing great golf. It hasn't affected him at all. He's playing really good. He had a disappointing weekend, but I think his game looks great.
Yeah.
You could argue that it's caused having that kind of money and time off and not playing as much. Like DJ is, you could say he's washed. Like he's not, like, does he care as much? I would
He did
guess.
pretty solid this weekend. Not like contention, but like he went
Yeah,
3
but it's
under
like,
today. But
yeah.
not to what we're used to
Yeah,
seeing.
I mean
20
that's
under,
like
2020
the highlight
DJ.
for him in the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
pretty dark. And then other guys like Rom, I could argue that it's because the majors are all that matters, and where he's showcased, he's putting too much pressure and trying too hard at majors, and he's not performing like he usually performs elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And DJ's fair, like, defense, it's like he was kind of an older guy when he went to Live, but it's like, what about Justin Rose? Like, Justin Rose is having this resurgence in his career. And, dude, how many people would love to see that out of DJ?
It'll be a surprise big time. So the other thing they were talking about is, and we kind of talked about this when I was at Nate's house, it's like none of the live golf courses are challenging. They're just resort courses. So every weekend you're going to see like a 20 under win or something like that. And we don't think that live is challenging their players enough for them to be in contention in majors. However, I mean, can we say that's fully their fault? Like, you need to go maybe do what Rory does. Go check. And that's what Bryson said he does. Like, when he has time off, he tries to go break course records because he's trying to keep himself competitive. Now, obviously, the whole thing with 3D print and everything probably plays a factor into it. However, I think Liv could play their part by like, okay, let's give them on this course that's pretty challenging. Granted, I wonder if some courses like, no, we don't want you guys here. And resorts do take them. I don't know if courses are like giving them pushback because of everyone hating Liv, but it just never. I won't say they never, because I just read this stat off to Nate earlier. Since their inaugural, since 2023 when Liv became, an actual league, they've had 2 major winners in Brooks and Bryson, and I believe in the last 3 years, 2023, I think they had 4 people finish in the top 5. 2024, they had 3 people finish in the top 10. In 2025, they had, I think, 3 people finish in the top 5. And then this year, obviously, we only had 1 with Tyrell Hatton. But I feel like it's too early to say that, early in the season to say, like, okay, these live guys suck when they come to majors, because there's only been 1. Now, if we get to the PGA Championship, U.S. Open, we see some consistency, then we can say, like, all right, you know what, these guys do not contend at all. But in the past, we've always seen someone from Liv, 2 or 3 guys in contention. And granted, they have a small sample size. They might have anywhere from 8 to 12 players co-playing the majors. So for 8 to 12 of them to get into the top 5 or top 10, I think it's still a win for Liv. But I feel like to this weekend, if you are a PGA elitist or you're anti-Liv, we gave you a lot of ammo to say that Liv guys cannot compete in big tournaments, man. And I think I just like watching golf where I'm not going to say a golf league makes you worse, with the exception of Cam Smith. I think everyone else is just like, they do contend for the most part. I think Tyrell has probably your most steady Eddie out of the group of Liv guys. Not sure what happened with Nate there, but everyone else is kind of up and down. Like, I think Bryson always typically plays like really good 3 out of the 4. Hopefully this one was his one that he messed up and he goes on and plays well. But even historically, too, the Open doesn't really favor him either. And we saw he played really bad in round 1 last year, then went on a tear round 2, but never really got himself in contention. I think John Rahm had himself in contention in the PGA Championship and stuff like that. But I would say none of them have ever been threatening, but I don't think it's as bad as what we're trying to perceive it as, because, like I said, these guys typically end up at the top. Look at the U.S. Open last year. Tyrell had finished T4th. I believe Carlos Ortiz finished T4th. I think Ron was somewhere like at 8th. So it's just hard for me to be like, okay, they're making their words, but like they are in contention a few times. They just haven't been able to close except twice, out of the major season since they became a league. So another thing I was going to ask, me and Nate, and obviously you could be a part of this as well. I wanted you to assess who are your top 3 winners from the weekend.
Top 3 winners. Nate asked me this, so I wrote down a list. I would say Colin.
Big time.
Was one. Yeah,
Big
just
time.
because, I saw how, they didn't show a lot of golf shots until he was on his birdie barrage on the back 9.
Yeah.
But, his back was killing him. He only hit a ball 285 in his tournament prep on the range because they able to track all that stuff. So, we know he couldn't even hit a drive probably even at 85% speed. And so for him to gut that out when I wasn't even sure he's going to be able to play, got to give that guy some props. He's got some dog in him. Max Homa was my second winner. Yeah. Because his struggles have been well documented, and just to see the kind of fire, the passion, he's making birdies and eagles out there, he's pumped. He's just a guy that really wants it and wants that moment. And to know he's been open about his struggles, and to see that and him come back when he finished 9th, that's good stuff. It was good to see his game's trending and coming back.
Yeah, I think the last 3 years, I think 2024 he finished T3, last year T12, and then this year he finished 9th. That's why I'm always asking, is there something about Augusta that fits his new shot shape, or is it just man, this is one of the only courses that show consistency? Then he just knows how to play real well. He just kind of always gets into that top 10, but then as soon as we got a Valspar or a Travelers, Max Homa just can't figure out. And Max Homa's my favorite golfer, so I'm always excited to see him do well at the Masters, but then it's why is this not translating to other courses and stuff like that? Yeah, you got one guy for me?
Yeah, I got one more winner, probably Jake Knapp, just because I followed along and was with his buddies and whatnot. And their goal was to get top 12 because he's around 43rd in the world. So there's no guarantee he's back next year, even though he's been trending and playing really good golf. And I expect him to increase on that world ranking and have it get better. But their goal is to be top 12. And so watching pretty much his whole round yesterday and Saturday, and he had some highs, he had some lows. He had doubles, and he played 12 horribly throughout the week. He really could have contended. He played well enough to do that. And there were 3 putts. I watched him 3-putt twice in a row. It was just the little mistakes that got him. But his highs were as good as you need to win this golf tournament. I have big expectations for Jake, but for him coming back, the whole crew gets to come back next year in 27. So I was hyped to see that.
Bro, that's my take with Jake Knapp all the time, bro. It's 2 things. He either has an outlier day where he'll shoot 66, 68, and then 75, then 68, and then it's he finished T5. And it's man, if you just eliminate that day, maybe we're talking about a win. And sometimes, so far, when I see him in contention, it's man, he's in that float in that top 3 area. He will finish around with bogey, par, bogey, then end on the eagle and finish T3. And it's man, if those just simply turn into
pars. There's a mini roller coaster out there. Yeah.
Yes, man. But super happy for him because I think in his first time at the Masters, he finished T55th. So this is a huge improvement from his first time, and his game has improved a lot as well, man. But I would say my top three are kind of similar to yours. I had Cam Young. Something that Nate talked about too is how he started off, I think, +4, something crazy.
He was 4 over through 7.
4 over. And then he just comes back. He's in the final pairing group with Rory. I think this is a good outing for Cam Young, man, the number 3 golfer in the world. I had Max Homa. He was my dark horse pick for the week. And again, like I said, a guy who hasn't really shown to have any bright spots during like the regular tournaments or the signature events, always finds a way at Augusta, man. So I'm super happy about that. And this answer might seem cliche, but I would still give it to him. I'm going to say Scotty because he had his worst performance at the Masters on Thursday, shooting 2 over. So if you look at his year, with the exception of the American Express, which he won, he's been kind of a guy that's been trending worse, which is not saying a lot. But he's been like finishing like 22, 24th, and like those numbers are like good for like a say Victor Hovland finish around there, like great season. But for Scotty, it's like 24th, 25th. We're not used to seeing that. So he was
not going to get done.
He was trending backwards. Yeah. So for him to take 2 weeks off, especially with the curiosity of like, is my driver going to work? Because that was one of his nemesis. And come here and get a solo second was really good when he definitely had opportunities to win. His best day was obviously Saturday, shot 68 today, which was super close. If he didn't, I won't say
he was an inch away from winning this thing.
He
also, I saw a stat. He didn't make a birdie on a par 5 on the back 9 the entire week, which seems impossible to do.
Yeah.
And yet he still almost won this golf tournament. So if there's someone that's like, man, I definitely could have had this. I mean, think of Rory and the chip-ins he had and the crazy barrage on Friday.
Yeah.
And he's making like 25-foot putts like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how close this is in this game. Like, really, it's a coin flip. Scotty could have won this tournament.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they say, I think, in the last 84 years, because I feel like they always make up stats for Scotty, but in the last 84 years, he's the first one to go bogey-free in 36 holes, which is incredible. You know, a lot of par saves, obviously didn't make as many birdies as he was like, but Scott was definitely one of my guys. I would love to hear your top 3 underperformers from this weekend.
Yes. This one may surprise you, only because he was playing really good. I thought he could have contended to win. Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed had a disappointing weekend. And again, I was there Saturday morning, and we're watching the leaderboard update, and we see 7. Because he birdied 1, and then we see an 8, and he's birdied 2, and then the murmurs start happening. And there's people down the fairways like the lead's down to 3, the lead's down to 3, and then we see a 9 show up, and people are going, dude, the lead's down to 2. Patrick Reed's coming for him, and there's just like, oh my gosh, Patrick Reed's going to run down the first hour and a half, and we don't know how it's happening, but we're just hearing these roars and cheers and this buzz, and like, oh man, P is just going to take him down, and then he ends up finishing 5 under and shoots 4 over par from that point in the 3rd round. And just like, it just seemed like he was in complete control. And I didn't see any shots from him Saturday, and they didn't show him coverage on Sunday.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, but I mean, he looked like he was in complete control. And we know his short game was great. His putting's good. And like, I just don't even know how he ended up shooting 4 over on the weekend after that point.
Good point. I would say one of mine, I had Shane Lowry, bro. He shot 8 over, and he was 9 under. And at one point, he was in the talk like, oh, shoot, like, can we see a Rory and Shane, 2 best friends, go at it? Now, I say if it ended up being Rory and Shane, I say it's going to be like Talladega Nights. Because Shane's going to be like, you know what, Rory? Shane's going to be like, Rory, you know what? You can win, bro. I don't have to win. I just feel like he's just Rory's, like, Robin in that degree. But the way Shane finished was very disappointing, man. I hate to say this is like almost like started to become like his game, because now I think back to, I believe the Cognizant had the lead until he got to the bear trap. Last 3 holes just fumbled it away and ended up giving it to Echeverria, ended up winning and stuff. So Shane has to do better in regards to like closing out in tournaments and stuff, especially when you have opportunity at the Masters, man. And that's not to say that's easy. And I probably would shoot 140 at Augusta, but for a guy your caliber and stuff like that, you know, you would want to see Shane play better. Another guy I had was Akshay Bhatia. He was part of my picks. Obviously, he won a signature event. I believe it was the Arnold Palmer. We came back and beat Dana Berger. So I had his expectation at the least he's going to make the cut. Had a horrible back 9. I believe he finished 7 over on the back 9, which threw him out of contention to get cut. I don't know if you got the stats right there in front of you.
No, he missed the cut, and he fell apart on the.
It was a back 9 on. Oh
my gosh, yeah.
It was so bad, bro.
He had 3 doubles.
Yeah,
3
so
doubles
the anchoring didn't help him out at all, unfortunately. And the last guy I got is Tommy Fleetwood, bro. Just the final round, he had poor iron play.
Yeah.
which is his strong suit. So I was very disappointed in Tommy, obviously number 4 golfer in the world. And yeah, he won the tour championship, but like I think it's time to obviously like exceed past tour championship. Let's see you win a signature event because it's almost unfortunate like we don't take tour championships serious. Like our Super Bowls, our championships are only the majors,
Right.
and then obviously the players. But it still counts as a PGA Tour win, so we're super happy for Tommy. But we want to see you rise above just tour championship. We want to see you actually kind of win a major and stuff like that. And again, with a guy who had opportunity and who's a really good iron player, unfortunately just played really poor on the final day to have a chance. And part of me wants to say Sam Burns, but I don't. But like I just feel like Sam Burns is not good at closing at all. So as soon as he gets close to the leaderboard, he's like, I gotta make a couple bogeys because I don't want this pressure. He probably's not thinking that, but that's just it's hard for me because at the RBC Canadian against Ryan Fox, I thought like he putted so scary. I'm like, bro, you're the number 1 putter on tour at that time. He's like, close this thing out. He was putting so safe. And then Ryan Fox threw that 3-wood, super close, ended up beating Sam Burns. So, bro, let me check on Nate, man. So I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. We
My
can
mic isn't working. Am I on? No.
Because I can go through my final 2.
Yeah, please do.
So my other 2 are John Rahm and Minwoo Lee.
Good one.
Rahm, for me, yeah, Rahm is like, I mean, we talked about how good he's playing on Live. That's all I heard about. And then he comes in here and just plays terrible in the first round. He shoots, 78, 77 or something?
78, yep.
Oh, my gosh. So that's mental. That he has all the skills in the world. You go to Data Golf, and he's in plus in every category. He drives it well. He drives it straight. He hits his irons great. He's a great chipper. He's a great putter. What could go wrong? Upstairs. Yeah. Like, he's putting too much pressure on himself to perform these majors. I firmly believe that. You just can't play that bad and be that good at golf at his caliber player. That's the only thing that can happen is if you try too hard and you just combust mentally. And so that was very disappointing to see because this is a big year for him. He hasn't won a major, since 22 or 23?
23, he won the Masters.
23? I mean, if he doesn't win a major this year, we're going on 3 full seasons not winning a major championship. Scotty and Rory have taken over as the main 2 guys. And then Rahm's basically a very, very distant 3rd, 4th, or 5th after he gone to Live. So it's like this is a big year for him in the majors. And that pressure is only going to mount if he continues to underperform and if he continues to play well on Live. So major disappointment for me. And then Minwoo Lee, a guy that's been playing really good. I really thought this was the next step for him. Perfect golf course for him. He hits it an absolute mile. He hits his irons very well. He hits his long irons well, which you need at Augusta because you hit so many of them. He's been putting good. His chipping is good enough. So I thought his floor was like a top 20. I really did. And then I look and he's like 11 or 12 under par. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yes, bro. Yes. I had the same thought too because signature events, I'm like, man, like you are contending. You are playing very well. Usually he's a really streaky player, so it's like I don't know what type of Minwoo Lee we're going to get. But leading up to the Masters, I'm like, man, Minwoo is playing very consistent. So like you said, his floor, probably 20th. But to go 11 over, I'm just like, bro, I'm trying to get you out of your sister's shadow, man. We need you to lock in, dog.
I thought we had Minwoo Lee 2.0, and then 1.0 came out this week.
Yes, great take, bro. Great take. And it's just, and I say this as a fan of Minwoo Lee that I wish that he would have did better. But last thing I have for you before I let you go, Chris, and Nate's still struggling getting back on, is obviously we saw a lot of celebrities at the par 3 contest and stuff like that. We had Kevin Hart in the practice area hitting shots and stuff. We had Jason Kelsey on the broadcast. What were your thoughts about it? Because I feel like, again, some of the elitists or like old heads of golf didn't like it. But I feel like the par 3 contest is more like a fun, environment. Like, because it's about to be uptight for the next 4 days. Let's do something loose and like have some fun. But I want to know your thoughts about, all what was going on with the par 3 contest.
So I'm in more of the old head camps on this one.
Okay.
I like Kelsey and Wyndham Clark and Kevin Hart. I'm more of like take it all away. Like this is about the families, the players, the kids, and like that is the entertainment in itself. So to me, I'm not the biggest fan of ESPN and their coverage of stuff. And I'm just thinking about like ESPN as a kid growing up versus what ESPN. Just how they cover sports, even just Sports Center itself. I feel like the product's gone downhill a little bit. So yeah, I'm not a fan of really like touting out Jason Kelsey out there. And we got Nate back. Good.
Dude, I don't know what was going on, but
Yeah, we
I
lost you.
could see everything and hear everything, but it just like you guys were like talking about me like I wasn't on. I was like, what? Anyways, technology.
Yeah.
Technology.
All good. No, I was just talking about par 3, and I wasn't a fan of Jason Kelsey. And all that shenanigans in the par 3 contest, but yeah, that's just me. Like, I mean, like let's just keep the Masters is a hollowed ground. Let's just keep the peace for this one. You Jason, you can have whatever thing you want to have in another place. Like, let us have this week.
Go do the Zurich.
Yes.
Go do the Zurich.
Go do the Zurich. Go do Cameo. Like, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of saying as well. Like, I didn't have a problem with Kevin Hart caddying for Bryson, but I'm like, y'all let him hit in the practice area is crazy work, man. I thought it was super crazy, man. But I guess I don't know if the Augusta or the Masters is trying to play catch up because of like how relevant or how much like content creation like golfers have increased as of lately and the popularity that comes with it. So I don't know if they were trying to like dabble with a piece of that to gain more viewership. But I think like if there's one tournament that doesn't need it, that's going to have viewership regardless, is it the Masters and stuff like that. So but now, Chris, man, we appreciate you coming on. I mean, unfortunately, Nate had the technical difficulties and stuff like that, man.
Dude, sorry.
Yeah, we know you're on the
Nate,
East
you got
Coast,
any
so it's 9
questions for
o'clock.
me?
Yeah.
Where I go?
Say what?
I said, you got any questions for me that you wanted to get in since?
No, I wanted to hear about like the event and stuff like that, but I feel like we already talked about it. The bunkers was actually like I was actually very curious about was like how crazy the bunkers were, but I liked what I did want to say this earlier, but you were talking about how like you have to be really tight with your irons, and it made me think like, was it the par 3 where Rory hit it over the green and stuff, and he like 4. It was 4. He hits it over the green. He took an 8 iron, hit it over the green, and then he like putted up, and he left it way short. And I was like, that's what you want to do though, because if he hit that too hard, that would have ran off the front. And
are you talking today on 6 is the one where he hit long and then left it short, made bogey? Yeah.
Yes, sorry. That is the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember the whole number. I knew it was on the front 9, but yeah, dude, it just made me think like the green might be big, but where you can miss is not as big as the green looks. You know what I'm saying? And,
well, Augusta has like basically greens within greens because there's so much slope and there's some tiers that are literally the size of like a car. And there's certain places you can miss it and there's other places you just absolutely cannot. So it definitely exposes those. If your irons are off, you're going to get exposed, or you better be really, really good at short-sided chips and lag putting from 60 feet, or you're going to have a long day.
Yeah. Well, like 11 is a good example. It's like that pin placement, just hit it in the middle of the green. But if you hit it in the middle of the green, it's a heck of a putt to try to get a 2-putt, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know what the hole played at. I'm guessing probably like a 4.3-ish. But I mean, it's just like you have almost half the guys making bogey there. So it's a tough hole.
Yeah, and like 16 is another green within a green. You know, like you have that little cutout, and then if you miss that part, it's kind of hard to get it close. You know.
That was the only bummer I had on 16 because they didn't put the pins out in time on Friday night or Saturday morning before I left, because that's pivotal. I wanted to know like where the pin was. I don't know if I would have stayed on 16 if I knew that pin was in the back right, because I knew it's so hard to hit that tiny little sliver. There wasn't going to be a ton of roars and a ton of action on 16 because 85% of the guys are going to get close to that shelf, and then it's going to roll back down to 35 feet, and then it's just going to be a 2-putt contest, a 2-putt fest from 35 feet from like where the Sunday pin is to where the Saturday pin was yesterday.
Yeah.
And
that back right pin placement.
Awesome birdie there. It was electric. Crowd went nuts.
That's right. Yeah.
But for the rest of it, it was like, it's just going to be a lot of pars. It's not going to be a lot of action.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great hearing your take, and especially coming from like someone who was like as knowledgeable as you are about the game. Like it's awesome hearing about that.
Big time.
Yeah, for sure, guys.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you again, Chris. Absolutely, man. The strokes game master. So we'll see you next time, bro.
That sounds good, guys. Enjoyed talking golf.
Absolutely.
Yeah, us too. Yeah.
See you guys.
Again, guys, Chris Petefish was actually at the Masters, so he had way more insight in terms of his physical presence than we did from the comfort of our home. So, guys, please, again, like, subscribe, share. We're on all platforms now. Again, if I sound nasally, my apologies. My sinuses are going crazy right now. Again, man, we want to predict the RBC Heritage, which is a signature event, big event. Obviously, I know a lot of these guys just gave it their all in Augusta, but you got to go play in these signature events. You would kind of hope it was something like the Zurich coming up where you guys can take a break. But unfortunately, these guys got to come locked in. With the exception of Rory McIlroy, he's definitely going to take his time off. Even if he would have lost, his name was not even in the field regardless, man. We've got the RBC Heritage coming up, Harbor Town Golf Links, Hilton Head. Out of 49 courses last year that were considered tough, this was rated the 34th in regards to, again, how tough it is. So it's not that difficult of a course. Nate, we're going to do our same format, 3 and 2. I'll let you start off.
3 and 2. Okay. So my first pick, I'm gonna go with Robert McIntyre. We all know he sucked, but it's Augusta. We can take that off his record, okay, everybody. But he's been number 2 in scrambling, and he's been number 9 off the tee. This is not that long of a course, and there are a lot of short par 4s. So if he can get it close to the green, the scrambling is what's going to kind of help him. And he's good off the tee. So he's also number 4 in putting. And although he didn't putt great at the Masters, there were glimpses of him being 4th in strokes gained putting. So Bobby Mack, pick number 1.
The only thing my concern with him is obviously after he missed the cut, he cited some neck injuries. I don't know if that was a cop-out or if that's true.
Right, yeah.
And I don't want to judge because obviously as being a former professional athlete, you know, I would hate for someone, if I had hamstring issues, someone like, oh, Jeremy just doesn't want to do this. It's like, nah, bro, I actually got a hamstring issue. And Bobby Mack could really have a neck issue. He's like, man, this is a Masters, so I'm going to try and thug it out. But kind of seeing the frustration in his body language made you think, like, are you doing a cop-out or what?
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
exactly what I was thinking. But, I don't want to do any suspicion. Yeah,
absolutely not. My first pick, bro, and it's probably really a dark horse pick. It might be considered a biased pick for me. But I'm going to go with my guy, Andrew Putnam, man. He's had a lot of outlier tournaments where he's finished like top 5. Obviously, he had the T2 at the American Express where he could have possibly beat Scotty. The last tournament, I believe, which was obviously which one that JJ Sponge ended up winning? The Houston Open. What was the Houston Open?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever JJ.
Yeah, it's either Valero, Houston, or
the Valero. Excuse me.
Yeah,
that JJ spun. Putnam had an opportunity to force a playoff. Unfortunately, I think he just missed eagling that hole 17, the drivable par 4.
Yeah, he almost chipped it in.
Almost chipped it in. And then unfortunately, 18 didn't go the way he wanted. But I think Putnam is finding something in his game where he can be a contender. We've seen it before. You kind of look at the leaderboard, it's like, what are you doing up there? So again, biased perspective for me, but I like Putnam. And he's been really good with driving accuracy, but GIR is very low. However, he's scrambling. He's ranked 8. 1-putt percentage, he is ranked 6. And strokes gained around the green, he's ranked 7. So I think Putnam has the formula to do well, you know, at the RBC Heritage. But let's see if we get that T2 Putnam or, you know, the Putnam that missed back-to-back cuts earlier in the season. But I'm hoping we get T2 to win Putnam.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. All right, my next pick is gonna be Ludwig. So there are 3 long par 3s on this course, and even the 4th par 3 that's a little long, it's still 190, and it's got like a weird kind of Pete Dye looking green approach to it. So I think approach matters, and especially approach over 200 yards. So my next pick is going to be Ludwig. He's 6th in approach over 200. There's a lot of bunkers there, so I would say he's also above average in sand save, so he's green in that category. He's top pretty much 50 in everything strokes gained, and he's number 5 in proximity, which will help in a lot of these birdie fests. So I think Ludwig, and he's been trending a little bit better this year than he has in previous years, besides the year after post 2023 Ryder Cup. So he's been trending well this year, so maybe he just needs a Ryder Cup to do well.
I'm going to say hopefully for Ludwig, it sucks because you don't want to not be in the lead, but it's like, bro, you rather just either be clubhouse leader and hope everyone fumbles or like play catch up. Because anytime it's time for him to steer the ship, bro, he unfortunately folds.
Yeah,
And
because he's had the lead going into Sunday twice this year, and he definitely folded.
yeah, the Players, and then I forgot which one was after that where he also folded. It might been the Valspar too.
Yeah, it might have been, or
the
yeah,
Valero.
AT&T.
Something. No, I don't think it was 18. I know for sure it's the Players, because it ended up just being Cam Young and Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
There was
Fitz.
one recently after the Players, so it was either Houston Open, which I think Gary Woodland just kind of took that for himself. It was either Valero or the Valspar.
Valspar. Yeah.
One of those was like, Ludwig, come on, man, not again. And you don't want to start to be, you don't want that to be tied to your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially with the upside that we've been talking about that Ludwig Oberg has. He's going to have to lock in, man. But my second pick is I'm going to go with Russell Henley, man. With the exception of one signature event, big events this year, Russell Henley has played very well. Pebble Beach finished T19, T6 at the Underperformed, T13 at the Players, and then at the Masters just finished with a T3. Historically, he's been a very, very good top 10 player week in and week out, and I think it's time for him to be a guy to be at the top of the leaderboard. So he has a signature event last year at the Underperformed. Let's see him get one this week at the RBC Heritage.
Yep, dude, Russell Henley's been hot, so not a bad pick. All right, my third pick, granted, it's kind of tough picking a winner because it's like I feel like once you win, it's hard to it's hard to win again. But I'm gonna go with Gary Woodland. He's a vet, so a lot of these like big moments or these like where you would see a rookie or a younger player fumble it, you don't see that with vets. That's why I think that's why Rory won twice, is because he's kind of been there before, and I think that's why it took him this long to win for his first Masters too, is because he knows how to like hang on to a lead better. So I think Gary Woodland's a good pick. He's number 37 in strokes gained approach over 200. Again, I think that might be an important stat here. He's sixth in strokes gained off the tee, and he's 62nd in proximity with his approaches. So I think that'll help with his birdie fest, with these like more or less birdie fest type rounds. So Gary Woodland, third pick.
Like that, man. And shout out to Gary Woodland too. Obviously, he was very outspoken about dealing with PTSD, with the brain lesion and stuff like that, man. So very likable guy, man. And it'd be awesome to see Gary Woodland get 2 wins this year. Next guy I'm going with is Jacob Bridgman. This again, like I said, this course last year was ranked 34th out of 49, so not that tough. Jacob Bridgman is a PGA Tour winner, a signature PGA Tour winner. He did solid at the all signature events this year. And he's number 2 in strokes gained total, and he's number 1 in strokes gained putting. So with the owner problem, like we said, not being that long, I think if he can just kind of get to certain spots on the course and get on the green and one, he's going to one putt, because his approach shots from 50 to 125, he's on ranked number 5, and his approach shots from 100 to 125 is ranked number 7. So really good wedge player, really good putter. Again, I think it's another formula that sets a guy up for victory. So I like Jacob Bridgman with the RBC Heritage. Dark horse picks, Nate. Who you got?
Dude, I almost would. I know he's won and he won a signature event, but I almost feel like Jacob Bridgman would still be a dark horse. But
I think I picked 2 dark horses as winners, Putnam and Jacob Bridgman. So
I know, yeah, like
very,
Putnam
very
is kind of.
aggressive. Those very aggressive picks.
I know, but I love Putnam, kind of an undercard guy, and he was such a star in college too. But anyways, like so, dark horse, man, I feel like my dark horses are bigger names than the 2 guys you picked. Dark horse number 1 is going to be Sahith. So when I was looking through the pictures of the course, looked like there were a lot of bunkers. Sahith is 44 in sand saves, 14th in scrambling, and he's 60 in approaches over 200, which 60 is still good. I just want people to know that. Just like Cam Young was 40th in strokes gained putting, and pretty much all freaking weekend, except for Sunday, he putted like he was number 1 strokes gained putting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like
so
that.
anyways, Sahith.
Do you think Sahith is on a trajectory kind of like Ludwig, where like there's a lot of hype with his ceiling, but it's like, is he starting to plateau?
Yeah, I for sure. I think we were saying like year 3, which is 2 years ago for him, maybe a year ago for him.
Yeah.
We expected a lot, but then there were like injuries, or he had like a little like lingering health issues, and I think that was kind of a good excuse. I don't want to say excuse, but that was like just more or less an explanation for his underwhelming performances as of late. I do think like a 3-year rule is kind of an unrealistic ask for athletes, though. Like Some guys might take a little bit more to develop. Some guys might come on the scene and be hot right away.
I think it depends on the sport. Because football, you don't have a lot of
Yes.
time. You better be good
Yeah,
now. We're gonna
football.
cut you. Well, I feel like
Yeah,
every sport's like that. Because like we talked about, golf, you're an independent contractor, so you control everything as opposed to a GM controlling things.
yeah.
So
So I think golf is different, especially because like you can just keep playing, and it's on you if you want to keep playing. Whereas in a lot of the leagues like NBA, NFL, Premier League, stuff like that, MLB, it's like, do they want you to keep playing?
yeah,
If they don't want you to keep playing, you're not going to play anymore. Granted, if your performance, warrants like, hey, you can make the team better, you're going to stay on the team. But for golf, it's like, dude, if the PJ doesn't want me, I can still stick around and play pro golf and try to get back in the league. And that's why you have guys who are like 39 and they get full status for the first time. So anyways, with golf being a lot less like, hey, you decline really quickly, you decline when you're past 30. Who knows like when Sahith will reach his peak? And I feel like once he gets like a real victory, it'll be hard to get him out of the top.
I think he has a
But
FedEx Cup fall victory, and that's about it.
yeah, he does. But it's like, I don't know, we say that about Ludwig, and it's like Ludwig won the Genesis last year, and then where
Yeah,
has he been? You know?
yeah. I think it's again we give Ludwig the ceiling like Scotty such a reach, man. But like we give him like, and I don't want to say Fleetwood because only Fleetwood only has one win, but like we just give him the ceiling of like you are a top 10 player, bro, which requires more top 10 finishes as well as more wins, and we're not
Hmm.
seeing that as consistently as we would like. And then the opportunities you have when you're in the league, that's one thing we say about Sahith. That difference from Ludwig is like we don't really see Sahith be in contention with the lead. Ludwig has been there and has unfortunately squandered away. But I think Sahith is a really good dark horse pick. My dark horse pick is somebody who found something clicking in the Masters, especially on Friday and Saturday, and that's Patrick Cantlay. Uh, there's not a lot of attention on him because obviously he's always known as the villain. He's not the most likable guy. But like when Cantlay gets something going, he's like ice cold. If we remember in the Masters not the Masters, excuse me, the Ryder Cup in
Ryder Cup
2024, I believe,
3.
2023, he was the one like the silent assassin, like, yo, I'm going to put ice in my vein. I'm going to make this putt, and I'm going to silence the crowd. And he was consistently doing that, bro. And at this tournament, the last 3 years, he hasn't got lower than the T12. So I think some of the promise he had at the Masters, transitioning over to RBC Heritage, we can see Patrick Cantlay do some good things.
That's a good pick, Patrick. I mean, he can get hot too, just like he did when he did the Ryder Cup. All right, so my last dark horse pick is gonna be Minwoo Lee. I kind of heard you and Chris talk about him, but
Yeah.
I was cutting in and out, so I couldn't. I know you guys put him like on a
He was,
disappointing performance
yeah, because just
for
the
the Masters.
consistency he had this year. Because, like I said, historically, Ben Lee is more of a streaky player. He could be 1 week he finishes like T5, next week missed the cut. But this year we see him just be more consistent. So going into a major, there was a lot of confidence going into like, yo, Ben Lee is a good pick. I believe that the homie Petefish was talking about like, man, his floor is top 20, and unfortunately he finished 11 over. That could obviously change going into signature event. He could still keep his signature event streak up how he's been playing. But like that was pretty much our take. We were just he was an underperformer for us. Especially
Yeah,
I think we talked about at your house, he's number one in total driving. And we didn't see
yeah,
that really show up for him at the Masters. And he's a really good long iron player. That didn't really show up for him either.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, he is green in all things strokes gained. He's 37th in sand saves and he's 5th in putting average. You
Again,
know,
success. That's
yeah,
another word for
yeah.
success.
But it's like he also shot, didn't he shoot like 63 2 weeks ago, and then like after that just shot even or one over par the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna get. He does have the propensity to go low though, because he has this year.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging. If he can kind of follow a low round with another low round, just like Rory did this weekend, where it's like he shot 67 and 65. If Minwoo can kind of follow a 65 with another round in the 60s, I think we're gonna have a really good. He's gonna have a really good standing going into Sunday.
Good point. And my last pick, man, I usually try to stay away from this guy, but I think he's kind of forced into like playing really good. That's Jordan Spieth. He's not guaranteed to be in the PGA Championship or the U.S. Open. His 10-year exemption is up since he last won like a major. So right now he's ranked 61 over official World Golf rankings. He needs to get himself inside the top 50, so he's got to start playing better. I know there's all these reports about him like, I'm hitting the ball better than I did when I won the Masters in 2015. And if that's the case, that means your putting isn't being good. But there's something that has to come along consistently for Jordan Spieth to obviously get into these other majors and stuff like that, man. It's just time to turn it on, man. I think a lot of your fans, like homies like my homie Noah Reed, they're tired of waiting for like, oh, he's almost back. We need to see if you're back or not, man. I know he's been through a lot of injuries, neck injuries, wrist injuries, surgeries, and stuff like that. But again, he needs a PGA Championship to complete the career Grand Slam.
Yeah,
you got to start doing something that warrants you to get into the field.
he didn't do poorly this weekend, so I feel like Spieth fans should be encouraged after how he played at the Masters. So, I don't think it's a terrible dark horse.
Yeah.
It's sad that he's a dark horse, though.
I try to stay away from him, man, because I saw a tweet too that says they think in terms of like Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, JT, like that era is done. People have given up on that era, which is kind of crazy. To say. JT just won the RBC Heritage last year, but again, outside of that, we haven't really seen. I think 2 years ago did Ricky win in Detroit, but that field wasn't tough.
Yeah, but
they're just not as relevant as we're used to seeing. And we see like these young guns coming up with a Chris Gardner, a Jacob Bridgman, a Cam Young, Ludwig Oberg. It's starting to turn into their seasons with the exception of obviously Scotty and Rory because they're outliers in this. But like that's like the new phase of group right there. And the Ricky, the JTs, and the Spieths just starting to like phase you guys out. So hopefully Spieth could do something.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's my generation.
The
next generation of golf.
Yeah. He hopefully does something that warrants him getting into the PGA Championship and stuff. But we look at Spieth this year too. I mean, obviously he just finished T12, which was good. But Valero finished T63, Valspar T11. The players finished T32. Arnold Palmer finished T11. Genesis T12. So he's like a guy that's like the stock. You just don't know which Spieth you're going to get.
Yeah.
And, I think it's just time for him. But again, please, people, like and subscribe, rate us. Again, I'm sorry that I sound very nasally. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties that they have. Please show us your grace. This is the first time you're on here. We are the best podcast out there, man. We've just been facing some challenges today, but continue to lock in with us, please. Nate, like I said, we respect women's golf, man. We want to talk a little bit about the LPGA event. It's going to be in L.A., the JM LA Championship. And I just want you to just talk about some things you kind of hope to see this weekend. Obviously, the LPGA didn't do anything this previous weekend because it's the Masters, and obviously anything gets overshadowed by the Masters. But what are some things you want to see going into the LPGA event in LA?
Well, it's like kind of like I want to see some momentum for some of these girls going into the Chevron, which is going to happen the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
So is Hannah Green in the field?
This week. It's a good question.
Or is she playing LET? But
that's a good question.
But yeah, like I would just like to see just girls get a little momentum. You don't have to finish first. You don't have to get top 10, but just like string together some good rounds, figure out what in your game needs to be worked on, that kind of stuff. Scotty going into the Masters was like, I got to work on my drivers. And we kind of saw a little cleaned up version of his drives. At least today, he was striping his little buttercuts. He was in some trouble a little bit on, was it 17? I'm kind of getting the holes mixed up now, but we had to punch out a little bit. But, I would like to see like some of these girls like figure out what they need to work on prior to going to the Chevron. And then hopefully we get a more exciting Chevron championship than the back nine of the Masters this year.
And like we got last year with a 5-person playoff. That was super exciting.
Yeah, like a 5-person playoff, But
I would say right now, currently, as I'm looking at the field for the LA event, don't see Hannah Green on this list. And I also don't see Nelly on this list as well. So I don't know if this is Nelly pulling
Dude,
a. I don't know if Nelly's pulling a Rory. Like, I'm not playing any event to the Chevron Championship. Could be wrong, but the way,
Chevron's the week after.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. So maybe she's doing that. I mean, maybe she said I gave my all at Shadow Creek, which is like the players take 2 weeks off, and I'm gonna show up at the Chevron. Hannah Green is in the field. Just found her. Yep. Hannah Green's in
Yeah,
the
so I
field.
think,
Yeah,
well, Hannah Green's probably staying stateside just because she doesn't want to go all over there and then have
and
to
then
come
come
back
back
the
for the
next.
Chevron for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. I would say for me, man, one thing I want to see is Asterisk Tally. She's in the field as a sponsored exemption. I want to see her where her mental is in regards to getting over what happened at Augusta. She obviously did really good at the Ford Championship. I think she finished top 10. Now you're going to play over in LA. I want to see that you're not affected and your game can move on and you can go dominate in LA, which I think that she can. She's a very, very talented golfer. So that's one thing I want to see. The second thing is Lauren Coughlin. She got third in this event last year. She just won what I put as equivalent to the players winning in Vegas at Shadow Creek. I want to see if she can be consistent. Not even saying you got to win, but I would love to see you get top five because I want people to say, like, Lauren Coughlin's for real. I don't want them to think. I know before that she said in her interview, like, how people were giving her a hard time about having not won in a while. And then she won the Grand Thorn with Novak. And people weren't trying to count that or something like that. But she was like, I won a PGA Tour event, which was just, she was being funny about it because of Grand Thorn, the PGA event. But she comes back and she wins the Shadow Creek. And she's like, okay, look, I can win on tour. I just want to see her be consistent and win again at the event in LA. And lastly, man, obviously bias with this, man. I'm very hopeful for the homie Haley Cooper to make her first cut in the LPGA. I want to see Gina make the cut and obviously be able to dominate, as well as
That'd be cool.
I think Paula Rito, who was on the panel, which go check that out at the Golf and Gospel. I had an amazing panel of 4 LPGA ladies talking about Jesus and talking about golf. Paula Rito was on that panel. I believe she hasn't made a cut yet this year. We'll love to see her make a cut. So I believe she stayed back in Arizona for the week and worked on some things in her game, went to Ping and got some things figured out. So I'm hoping that transitions into, her game in LA. And then obviously Rose, she made the cut at Shadow Creek, did well. Just making the cut is probably not, like, at least from our standpoint, just good enough. I know Rose has the ceiling to go out there and win, and I would love to see her in the winner category again. So I'm a little biased towards those 4 because they did the panel for me, but those are my thoughts going into the LPGA event. And again, guys, please like, subscribe, and again, forgive me. I sound so nasally. I can't breathe out my nose. It's just super terrible. But Nate, I do want to get into our gospel portion of the episode, and essentially what I want to do is I want to talk about the importance of gratitude and what that means to you.
Yeah. Well, whenever I think about gratitude, I feel like, so one of my really good friends, shout out to Tanner, but he just got in a really bad biking accident. He got hit by a car, and uh, and I just remember, like, when I saw him today at church, he was just like, I'm just thankful to be alive. I just feel like I have so much more to be grateful for after this accident. And sometimes it just makes me think there's so many things we take for granted. We take our health for granted. And he's got, like, his whole right arm and everything is broken on the right side of his body, and I think of anyone that has the right to be mad at their current situation of life, it's my buddy Tanner. He can't use his dominant arm for things. It's going to affect his work. It's going to affect him. He has 3 kids, and they're depending on him. It's going to affect his ability to provide for him. And I don't know. To me, I think that's like a weird human psychological conundrum. It's like whenever we get hurt, we get the most grateful that we're alive and we have the health that we have. So I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that, but I feel like it's just that perspective of, like, dude, I'm perfectly healthy, and I did not thank God for my health today. I didn't thank God for my health this week. If anything, I was all like, God, why can't I be less stressed or something like that whenever I prayed,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I just hope that people don't have to go through bad accidents to be grateful. Yeah. I know for me, when I went through my accident, because I had a really bad car accident, that I was super grateful just to be alive. And it's like there are times where you go through life and you're like, man, I just don't want to be living anymore. And it's like, why does it have to take like these accidents? It's a weird thing in human psychology, I think. There's like you have to have some sort of tragedy, or not tragedy, but you have to have some sort of like ailment for you to be thankful for your health, for you to be thankful for where you are, you know. But I don't know. That was my perspective of that whenever you talked about gratitude.
Yeah, nah, I think that's still a great take, man. Like, it's almost like, man, we gotta wait for hardship to come to like have this, or to survive the hardship or get through it to be thankful. Uh,
Yeah.
and I feel like we need to not only go to God when we have petition, but with also gratitude, right? Colossians
Mhm.
4:2 talks about be constant in prayer while being watchful with thanksgiving. And we do the constant with prayer part, but we never do the watchful with thanksgiving. And it's crazy because when we think about like, man, what is the will for my life? One of the wills for our life is being thankful. I like what it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:18. It says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So if anyone has a question, man, like, what's the will for my life, man? To be thankful. And I get it when we hear the concept, like, what's the Lord's will for my life? We think that's like singular, like it should be like one thing. But there are numerous things that is considered the will for our life. I think we look at it also in Thessalonians 4, it says, the Lord's will for our life is sanctification and to flee from sexual immorality. And then we see in another situation, 1 Thessalonians 5:8, the will for our life is to be thankful. So there are numerous things that is considered the will for our lives that we should be doing. But in regards to this conversation specifically, we need to be more thankful, or we need to walk that out more. Because I've been trying my best to, it sounds weird, but to pray for something once with full heart, but just be thankful that that prayer is going to, I won't say come into fruition because the Lord could be telling me no, but just having a heart of gratitude even throughout that prayer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you get so many different takes with this in regards to prayers. Like, continue to pray until you see it, or do you pray for it and believe that like the Lord heard that prayer, He's working, so just be thankful throughout of it. But I think regardless if we are constant with prayer, the main thing is we need to make sure that we're thankful because, again, it's the will for our lives. And again, if anyone has any question like, man, what's the Lord's will for my life, man, it's to be grateful. And I love what the scripture says too. It says in all circumstances. So unfortunately, your buddy Tanner had a situation where he got in a bad car accident. Like, there's something to be thankful in that situation. The fact that me and you just woke up, church, watch golf, let's be thankful we had the opportunity to do
I
that.
know.
You know what I'm saying? Like something as simple as that. And then like just little stuff like I'm just congested. My sinuses are swollen, but like I'm still thankful I'm able to breathe, even though it's like a struggle right now, right? And I don't think that being grateful should be like selective in our life when the word says give thanks in all circumstances, right? And again, that is the will for our life. So yeah, I would love to know what the audience take is on that, man. If you have the question like, man, what's the Lord's will for my life? Did you know that gratitude is the will for your life? At least one of them. And again, that when we say what's the will for our life, it's not like a singular thing that we must do. Like, oh, the will for my life is this one single event. There are numerous things we look out in Scripture that the Lord said. The will for your life is sanctification. The will for your life is to give thanks in all circumstances. Would love to know your thoughts. I would love to know how you practice gratitude as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, man, like we appreciate you guys, being patient with us, sticking through us with this episode of Golf and Gospel Podcast, man. Like I said, had some technical difficulties. I
Yeah.
sound congested, man, but again, this is something that we enjoy. Subscribers are going up, and we're so grateful. We're at 241. We're so grateful to all 241, and we're almost at 530 followers on Instagram, dog. Super grateful. But again, we're going to be on all platforms now. So if you're an Apple person, Spotify, Amazon Music, find those on there. I'm going to put those links in the caption for you to find. And man, hopefully me and Nate are feeling better and no technical difficulties. I'm not congested next week on this episode of Golf and Gospel Podcast. So we'll see you guys. Peace.
Peace.